Hey guys, what's going on? So this is going to be my character spotlight for both Treant and Gunslinger. Gunslinger is basically used the same in every single deck, and this is the deck, other than Blooming Dash Blade Dancer, that I think it shines the brightest in, so I thought that I would just combine the two videos as a character spotlight for both Treant and for Gunslinger. And so this is going to probably be the longest video for a number of reasons, that for a character spotlight that I've ever done and probably will ever do, because there is so much to talk about, and there's so much to explain, and there's so many nuances about Treant that you have to understand, that there are two different ways that you can play Treant, and that's not even to account for the talents that you probably shouldn't be using, which are both Arboreal Guard and Spiny Roots. I'm basically not going to talk about those. The only, everybody pretty much runs Mycelium Masters and Mushroom Nausea, and then the only variation that you'll ever see is either running Regeneration or Defoliation. Regeneration gives you a 25% chance to cleanse a negative effect, and that is a 25% chance every single time. So if your Treant gets Witched or Dark Priested, and it doesn't cleanse, and then that same Treant gets Dark Priested or Witched again, or Enchant Sorted again, it has another 25% chance to cleanse everything. So you could theoretically run this with no cleanse, and you could still be able to cleanse at some point, because you're running so many Treants that your other Treants should account for one Treant being Dark Priested or one Treant being Witched, and you should still be able to survive, and that's why this deck is very resilient. It's also resilient because this came out in a meta when Toxic was a thing, and so one of its effects is that if it would be leveled down, it instead loses charge counters, or leaf counters. And so I will go into that in a second. But just to let you know, you could run Regeneration, but I do want to say that we are not really in a toxic meta anymore. The most toxic deck that exists, it would be a Minotaur deck. That is the new DPS toxic unit, because they took away the toxic out of Robot, and so a lot of people that had Robot at max don't use that for that anymore, because you can't, and a lot of people have not really maxed out Minotaurs, and people that have maxed out Minotaurs would rather just run a regular DPS card because of Phantom mode. So for the most part, I'm not going to say everybody, but for the most part, Toxic isn't really a thing. Regeneration isn't really an important thing to have, as long as you have counterspells. If you have counterspells, you'll be fine. You could run this with a Mermaid. I also wouldn't necessarily recommend that in the good version of this deck. And I would always pretty much recommend Defoliation as the new standard for the middle talent. But let me go into a quick explanation as to how Treant works. And so if you don't know right now, there is currently a replay bug in the game. If you try to go into your replays and replay a match, what will end up happening is that at a certain point in the game, it AFKs, like in the replay, it'll AFK both players. Mobs will still come out, your units that are currently on the field will still attack, and then one of you will die, and then it'll just display who was the actual winner. And so replays are basically done until 31.1, or until they decide to fix it. But just so you know, I had to be creative with showing you a replay. And so what I did was I recorded 2 games, and this is to showcase exactly what I wanted to showcase anyway. And so I just did 2 replays of games. And in this way, I can also pause and rewind, which is also Maybe I'll just start doing this all the time. So this is how this works. Where is my... Okay. So when you merge Treants, they gain charge counters. So right there, I merged a Treant into this top Treant, and then it gained a charge counter. It gained a leaf counter, and the leaf counter, it now says that it's at 2 leaf charges. Once you get to above 5. So it has the ability to say up to the number 5, and once it goes up to the next number, or the next at max, once it gets to 5, the next one will make it change to a merge rank. The next higher merge rank. The merge ranks for Treants go to 4, and then they just gain stacks forever. So you can have a merge rank 1 Treant, a merge rank 2, a merge rank 3, and then once it gets to 4, it still gains leaf counters, but at that point, it just gains infinite leaf counters and then stays a level 4. So right now, that one has 2 stacks. It now has 4 stacks. It is now a level 2. And that is how you merge up your Treant. You can merge regular Treants and onto it, and it gains stacks. And then once it gets to above, above a 5, it goes to the next level, and now it's a level 2. The problem is that you can only merge Treants of that level with that level. And so your 2 level 1s that you have on the field right now, you can't merge that onto the Treant. That is a level 2. You need to make the other Treant a level 2 and then merge the level 2 onto the level 2 in order to get to a level 3. That is one way to do it. The other way to do it is to use your mana power up. So on the bottom, I have so many. Oh, here we go. This is the real one. Okay. So your mana power up on the bottom, when you press it, it's going to minus the highest rank thing on the board. So I'm going to start playing this. Okay, so right here, I just super merged into a level 2. Okay. This is probably a good time to pause this. Okay. So right now, I currently have this level 3 enchant sword on the field. If I were to use my mana power up, it would distribute 3 leaf counters to 3 separate Treants. If you don't have 3 Treants, it would only distribute 2 charge counters to 2 Treants, and then 1 charge counter would just disappear into nothing. It's not that one gets 2 and then another one gets 1. It doesn't distribute like that. It only distributes the rank that it is to that amount of Treants. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have less, it just goes nowhere and you just wasted a charge counter. I'll start playing this. So right there, I just used this now is a level 2. It's because I just used my mana power up. On the bottom, you can see that it's on a timer. Your timer is basically the thing that holds Treant back from being a top tier unit. Your cooldown is 20 seconds. You have only 1 activation of your cooldown. It's not like Genie where you get double activations. I wish that they added that, but that's not a thing, and that's the only thing that would really make Treant better. But once you use your mana power up to level down the highest level thing on your board, you have to wait 20 seconds to use it again. Merging or using your mana power up to downrank the level 3 enchant sword gave this Treant, and this Treant a stack. And so that is basically another way that you have the ability to give your Treants stacks. In this build, I am basically, the reason why this build exists and why I wanted to showcase this type of deck is it's a deck where you don't need a scrapper in order to level up your units. Obviously, a Dryad would be terrible with a Treant deck, because in order to upgrade a level 4, in order to give a stack to a level 4 Treant, what you would have to do is get a level 4 Dryad and then merge that onto the level 4 Treant, and it would, at that point, only gain 1 stack. You have diminishing returns the higher your Treants go, and so what you end up having to do eventually is using your mana power up. But in order to use your mana power up effectively, you have to have less Treants on the board, or you have to have a higher rank thing on the board. The reason why this deck exists is because everything in it doesn't require you to have a high rank. It doesn't need none of the things in this deck need to be high rank in order for you to get full value out of the thing. So, for instance, if you have a level 1 chemist on the field, you're getting level 1 chemist power, and you want level 7 chemist power. But the problem is, if you have a level 7 chemist and you have no way of efficiently upgrading it, what ends up happening is that becomes your highest thing on the board, and then it'll rank down to a 6, giving 6 Treant stacks. And then, if it's still the highest thing on the board, you can use your mana power up again, and it'll be a 5, and then it'll be a 4, and then it'll be a 3, and you get diminishing returns on your chemist that is very high level, and then it'll eventually just become a level 1, because you have no way of re-upgrading it other than trying to merge into a higher level version. But the problem with that is that every time you merge two things, you could get a level 1 Treant, which is the next point that I need to make. Whenever you merge into a Treant, it always becomes a level 1 Treant. You could merge 2 level 3 units, like 2 level 3 trappers, and if you get a Treant, it is a level 1 Treant, not a level 3 Treant. And so all of a sudden, you could theoretically merge 2 level 4 chemists, hoping for a level 5 chemist, so that you can have a level 5 chemist on your board, and you could merge 2 level 4 things, and then all of a sudden you get 1 Treant instead, a level 1 Treant instead, and then have to rebuild back up. Which is why everything in this deck, Enchant Sword, Summoner, Trapper, Harley Quinn, all of them work at full efficiency, whether they are level 1 or whether they are at level 7. And you actively want to get rid of all of them. You want to get rid of your enchant swords, you want to get rid of your summoners, trappers. A level 1 trapper and a level 7 trapper, there's basically no difference. They throw the same amount of powered traps on the field. And obviously Harley Quinn you want at the lowest level that you can in order to be able to use it you can use it more efficiently if you don't have the level 15 talent. And so that is why this version of the deck exists. It is not the best version of this deck, but it does illustrate how Treant works. So right here, I'm just merging up. Right here, I have a level 3. Right there, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get rid of the maximum amount of Treants on the board, so that when I do use my mana power up, it gives everything. It gives stacks to the Treants that I want it to give stacks to. It always gives stacks randomly, so what ends up happening is if you have 5 Treants on the board and you only have a level 3 that you're leveling down, it's the potential of your level ones that you don't want to give stacks to, because you want to give them to the ones that are the biggest things. You want to build those up. It could potentially give stacks to things that you don't want it to, like a level 1. And so you want to get rid of as many Treants as you can before you use that mana power up button. Obviously, your enchant sword is going to be your best friend here. You want to give full 10 enchant sword stacks to your main Treants. I don't know if you noticed it right there, but I just merged two level 2s, and then I got the level 1 Treant, and that has the ability to happen. I just merged the 2 to get a... So I had 2 stacks on the one in the center. I had 4 stacks right there. There's a lot going on here. There's so much happening with this deck. So right here, I have a level 4, and I have a level 1 right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this onto here. This is going to become a level 2. I'm then going to merge the 2 to over here. This is going to become a level 3. That becomes a level 3. And then I actually merge the 3 to the 3, and then it becomes a level 4. As soon as it becomes a level 4, your damage skyrockets through the roof. The difference between a 1, 2, 3 and a 4, like specifically a 4, is crazy. Once it becomes a level 4, not only does your damage skyrocket, but what ends up happening is now every single stack that every single leaf charge that your level 4 accumulates, what ends up happening is that all of the accumulation charges, if you're using Mycelium Masters, all of the accumulation charges that you get are shared between every single Treant that's a level 4. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. So right here, I have a Treant that is a level that has 11 stacks. I have a Treant that's a level 4 that has 8 stacks, and I have a Treant that's a level 4 that has 3 stacks. 11 plus 8 is 19. 19 plus 3 is 22. Is that correct? 11? 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess that would have been the easier way to do it. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 11 is 22. So right now, I currently have 22 stacks shared between all 3 of my level 4, specifically level 4 Treants. Lesser than level 4 Treants. So I have this like level 3 with 3 stacks. I have this level 4, this level 2 with 4 stacks. Those stacks do not count. It's only on Treants that are level 4 on your field. So this is 22 stacks total. I'm going to go back into the game here. And the way that Mycelium Masters works is a Treant emerge rank 4 gains the ability to accumulate leaves while also increasing the damage dealt by all Treants by 7%. So once you get to level 4, you automatically just get a 7% power boost just off the bat. And then you're getting, each leaf adds 1.5% to the damage increase. And then after 70 leaves, the bonus is reduced to 0.75. So 1.5, all of my Treants are getting a 1.5 bonus times 22. And that is the shared bonus between all of the Treants. Whether it has 3 stacks or whether it has 11 stacks, all of them are getting a 22 times 1.5 bonus And to understand this difference, I want to bring up a different way of looking at this. So this is a typical like Floral Frenzy board. The way that Floral Frenzy works, if you're not familiar with Blade Dancer, the way that Floral Frenzy works is when you have Blade Dancers that are on diagonals, which is this diagonal here. What happens is one of your Blade Dancers go into frenzy mode, and then it starts to bounce charges between the adjacent Blade Dancers, and then each of them gain individual charges. Now with Blade Dancer, the way that Blade Dancer works is Floral Frenzy gives you a 1.5% damage boost up to 50 times. I'm going to do the math on this. I'll be 1 second. Okay, so Floral Frenzy stacks, the way they work is you're getting a 1.5% damage boost up to 50 times. So in this example of this board, I have a 13, a 14, a 20, a 30, a 12, a 17, and a 15. If this was Mycelium Masters, if my board was a Treant board and it had all of this and it was a Mycelium Masters board, essentially what would happen is you would add up all of these numbers and you would get 121. 121, if Blade Dancer worked the exact same way, it would be a 1.5 boost up to 50 times. So 121 would be the total 70 or 50 times if you had this board. Okay, wait. 50 times 1.5 would be 75. And then it would be 0.75 afterwards. So you would still... Wait a second. I'm working way too hard on a theoretical... on this theoretical example. Okay. So the board has 121 stacks. If this was a Mycelium Masters board, the bonus that you would be getting would be 121 total stacks, where 50 of that you're getting at a 1.5% rate, meaning that you would get 75% because you got 50, and then the remaining 71 out of the 121 at a 0.75 rate, you would be getting 53%. 53% plus 53.2% plus 75%, you would be getting a 128% bonus for all of your Treants, or for in this case, you would be getting it for all of your Blade Dancers. But that's not how Blade Dancer works. And the reason why it's so bad is because each individual person has individual stacks. So instead of everybody gaining a 128% bonus, the biggest Blade Dancer on your field is this one that has a level that has 30 stacks. 30 times 1.5 is a 45% boost, where each of the other ones are getting even less of a boost, and that's individual. And also, if you lose one of them, let's say you lose that, not only are you losing out on a Blade Dancer that has a Blade Dancer that is is it a level 6, level 7? you're not only losing out on a level 7 Blade Dancer, but you're also losing out on all 30 of those stacks, equating to a bonus 45%. And you're getting diminishing returns on each of the other ones. So you're getting a 45% bonus here, but then this one is less, this one is less, this one is less than that, this one is less than that, this one is less than that, and this one is less than that. With Mycelium Masters, if this was the same board, but they were Treants, you'd be getting a 100, you would be getting, what did we say that it was? Did we even say, oh, I don't even remember. I trust that you can rewind this video to figure that out. But you would be getting just a much giant, much bigger bonus because you're adding up all of the charges, and that's how Mycelium Masters works. If this deck looks exactly like this deck, it's because it is. There is basically almost no difference between a Floral Frenzy board and a Treant board with a Treant deck that I think is the best version of this deck. What you're utilizing is the Mushroom Nausea ability. The 13 ability is where all of your damage is coming from, where every 15th time the Treant attacks, it throws a toxic mushroom that not only stuns monsters, which can become important if you're equivalent to your opponent and you're both gonna die. You could theoretically stun your boss or your wave just a little bit more than your opponent can, and then you could theoretically win off of that. But more importantly, it does 300% damage. So not only are your level 4 Treants gaining a 7% damage boost, but they're also gaining stacks collectively every time you press the button. You should be leveling down a level 7 Gunslinger in order for all of your Treants to gain stacks that are constantly getting bigger. You're getting, after 70 leaves, the bonus is reduced to 0.7%, but if you use the button and you rank down a level 7 Gunslinger, you're giving out 7 stacks every single time, every single 20 seconds. And that's what you should be doing if you are being efficient in your game. And so with that, with the Mushroom Nausea bonus, and then with the, if you have the Power of the Grove, whenever your Treant does receive a leaf, the Treant has a 20% chance to receive another leaf. If there are 4 Treants of rank 4 or above, which you will definitely have because you should have 7 Treants on the board, your Treants also gain a critical damage of 5%, even more on top of that. And then Defoliation, the number of leaves received by using the mana power-up, also has a 40% chance to be doubled again as well. So you should be gaining so many stacks every time you press the button, which is accumulating through Mycelium Masters so that all of your Treants are gaining stacks of damage. Mushroom Nausea only activates every 15th time a Treant attacks. With your Gunslinger, you're able to use the High Charisma bonus. The way that High Charisma works, I do believe I have a Treant picture. The way that High Charisma works is whenever you switch a Gunslinger, this is your Treant board, if that wasn't obvious. This is the Treant board that you're going to set up. You have 3 Treants on the top. You have 1 right here, 1 right here, 1 right here, and then 1 right here. The way that equates to 7 Treants. The 7 Treants are all on the edges, which means that your Sharpened Spear Knight statue will affect all of them. The way that your High Charisma works off of your Gunslinger is it works on a grid. And what I mean by that is, for the longest time, I always thought that when you move a Gunslinger, it only affects the T. So if you were to move your Gunslinger here, I thought that it only affects these 2 and these 2. which made me build really differently. It made me want to build a Treant in the center, and that's what I've been working on that assumption with. And it wasn't until I did a video a little while ago where I wanted to do this video basically, and I deleted it for a various number of reasons. But what ended up happening was I ended up getting to the Gunslinger portion of the video where I wanted to talk about Gunslinger, and I didn't know. And so I looked up the original Gunslinger video that Rush Royale made, and apparently, if you didn't know this, it works in a grid. If you move your Gunslinger from here to here, you're affecting everything around it. That blew my freaking mind. That is how good Gunslinger is. I thought it was good when it was just the T. It literally affects everything. If you were to move your Gunslinger right here to where the Trapper is, it would affect everything that's right here. That's how good Gunslinger is, which made me believe, or which made me understand that you could put a Treant right here, or theoretically right here, and when you move the Treant from here to here, you're affecting everything that's here and everything that's here. That's correct. You're affecting the entire board. If that doesn't blow your mind, maybe you already knew that, but if that doesn't blow your mind, like, that's insanity. And that's how a Treant works. When you do center merges, or when you do center switches, and you switch them into these two spots, you're essentially giving the entire board a 15% boost to attack speed. That is obviously going to come into Mushroom Nausea. Your Knight statues being able to affect everything on in that grid is affecting all of your Treants. Switching gives everything 15%. On top of the bonus that you're getting from your Knight statue. You could theoretically run a spear in order to give yourself even more attack speed. I have tried running a gadget, and I wouldn't recommend a gadget because you need so much mana. This deck eats up mana like nothing. So I'm going to play this battle. I did this during a co-op. I just did an endless co-op, and I will just let this play out. And essentially, you'll see how this works. The setup process is kind of crazy. This deck, this is my last disclaimer. So if this video doesn't sell you on it, if this battle doesn't like sell you on it, because I think it will. I think that watching this battle, you're gonna understand like the power of this deck. I have two disclaimers. So one is obviously the one that I started with. If you cannot catch scrapper hits because you are in an area where you just can't because of lag, because you have bad Wi-Fi. For whatever reason, your game is laggy. If you cannot catch scrapper hits with your Gunslinger, if you try to do that and you cannot do that, do not play this deck. I would not recommend it. I wouldn't even recommend the other version of the deck, the Trapper, Summoner, Enchant Sword version, because it doesn't have the reach that the good version, which is this version, has. The problem with the other version is that even though you can upgrade a low amount of Treants to very high stacks, you're not gaining the full value of having multiple Treants, where your level 7 Gunslinger is giving 7 stacks to 7 Treants. You're not gaining the benefit of having a Knight statue that can gain infinite stacks. If you didn't understand with the other picture, you're also bouncing, the way that your Knight statues are gaining stacks, is this, The square in the center is going to be your scrapper ditch square. And then what you're going to do is you're going to summon in on these two squares, and you're just going to eat with your scrapper. And every time a knight statue appears in either this square or this square, both of your knight statues are gaining stacks because of Sharpened Spear. And so that's how that works. There are so many nuances to this deck. This deck has a very high what's called difficulty rating. Difficulty in how it's going to be very dependent on a lot of quick decisions that you make. For instance, you need your things to upgrade in order to you need your Gunslinger to upgrade, obviously, but you also need other things to upgrade in order, just in case you can't always upgrade your Gunslinger. Even if I have perfect lag, like I don't have any lag, even if I have perfect connection and I can catch anything, sometimes the game gets crazy and I just miss something. And so having your other things upgrade, like your knight statues, which are obviously good to upgrade anyway because of the attack speed and the crit chance and everything that your leveled up knight statues provide, but having other things bail you out late game is going to be incredibly helpful. So if your Gunslinger levels down, you level it down to a 7, and then you miss a catch, and then, like, your mana power up is up again, and you press your mana power up, and now your Gunslinger is a 6, right? If everything else is less than a 4, right, and then all of a sudden you miss another scrapper hit, and now your Gunslinger is a 5, and now it's a 4, it can get really bad very quickly. All of a sudden, that 20 seconds comes up too quickly if you start missing out on catching a scrapper hit. With that being said, what you're trying to do, if you can, at best, is your Gunslinger is going to only catch Treant whenever a scrapper is going to hit any of your Treants. If it hits anything else, do not catch it. Obviously, it's a very twitchy deck. Obviously, catching scrapper hits is a very quick decision. Sometimes you will catch Knight Statue scrapper hits, and it'll suck. Because if you get to late game and you have low level Knight Statues, your damage is going to be drastically decreased. If you have a level 1 Trapper and it gets like tribunaled, it could go away, and all of a sudden now you need another Trapper like very quickly. It can get very bad. Catching a scrapper hit that's going to hit a Treant is your best option. Get a Treant gaining 1 more stack is not better than being able to have a level 7 Gunslinger and everything gets a stack. It's always better for your Gunslinger to get the scrapper hit than it will ever be for your Treant to get a scrapper hit. And so the setup, this is the setup, but the gameplay is really, really difficult. It has very difficult gameplay, and it's going to take you a while to get good at it. But with that being said, I will play this gameplay, and you'll see how this works. Another nuance as well, you will be running Amulet of Swiftness, so when you do set up, you want to merge your Treants onto, once you set it up, if you start pulling extra Treants in the beginning, when all of your Treants are level 1s, you're going to want to throw your Treants onto spaces where the Amulet of Swiftness tile is, so that you can build up those tiles in the early game. You can afford to merge early on as well to get a level 2, to get a quick level 2 Gunslinger. You can merge a bunch of trappers if you have them. Right now I have a bunch of trappers. You could use that to get Treants. You can use that to get level 2 Knight statues. Most importantly, you are trying to get a level 2 Gunslinger. I feel much safer when I have a level 2 Gunslinger early game than when I have to level up a level 1 to a level 2. So I already placed my 2 Knight statues. I already placed my 2 trappers. And now I'm just trying to move out everything else. I just merged into a level 3, but I merged 2 level 2 trappers. I was trying to get greedy, and I thought that, like, wouldn't that be cool if I got a level 3 Gunslinger? But what ended up happening instead was I got a level 3 Knight statue. What's ironic is instead of doing what I'm currently doing right now, which is using the mana power up to merge it down, I could have instead switched one of the level 2 Knight statues into the top right corner, and then just continued playing the game and just eaten one of my one of my other Knight statues, and then I would have a level 3 Knight statue and a level 2 Knight statue. This isn't a big decision, but it is one of those decisions that you could be making smarter. This is what I mean when I say that this has a very high difficulty rating. There are so many decisions that you have the ability to make, and sometimes when you're playing quickly, because it is a very twitchy deck, you can miss something like this. And it doesn't seem big, but it could be. Right there, I had a level 2. Or no, that was actually the correct move. Not catching the trapper, the scrapper hit on the trapper. That was another thing here. Really quickly here. Right now I have 2 level 2 Gunslingers on the field. You want to eat all of the Gunslingers on the field because you cannot move. If you have a level 1 Gunslinger and you have a level 2 Gunslinger that you're obviously trying to level up, if the scrapper hit is going to hit the level 1 Gunslinger, you cannot move a level 2 or you cannot switch a level 2 Gunslinger with a level 1 Gunslinger, and then all of a sudden you will have wasted a scrapper hit on a level 1 Gunslinger. So always eat all of the Gunslingers on the board. Right there, I caught the scrapper hit, so now I have a level 3. And now I have a level 4. If you notice, I'm not using my mana power up. You want to wait as long as you can. I try to start using my mana power up when I have like a level 5, level 6. That feels like a very safe level where you're giving enough. You're giving enough, what's it called, like leaf charges to enough Treants. Level 4 or below feels really bad because you need to level up your Gunslinger, and sometimes you just miss hits. And if you go from a level 4 to a level 3, it's very easy to go from a level 3 to a level 2. If you have a level 5, level 6, going to a level 5, level 4, it just feels better. The worst thing that you can do in this deck is where all of your Treants are level 4s, and then all of a sudden you've accidentally leveled down to a level 3 Gunslinger, at which point you don't have enough on the field to catch a scrapper hit to level it up. And so you always want to be above a level 4 for that exact reason. My God, this is a long video. Right there, I caught a night statue hit, or a night statue, a scrapper hit on a night statue. That's not the move. But like I said, catching scrapper hits is very twitchy. It would have been better to let that night statue upgrade to a level 4, but I did catch it, and so we move on. All units on the field increase their rank immediately. Right here, I was trying to get rid of all of my scrappers on the field because I don't want a bunch of like scrappers that I need to level down. And so this is my attempt at trying to get rid of them. But I did want to use it, and so I was able to use it. And this is a position that you don't want to put yourself in. So right here, I have a level 3 scrapper on the field, but what I ended up doing was I summoned in, even though I don't have a level 1 to continue eating things. The problem with the night statues being in these corners is that if a night statue appears in one of the corners, both of them shut off. If you don't have a level 1 scrapper to continue eating, you run the risk of accidentally summoning in a night statue in the corner and all of your night statues shut off. So don't put yourself in this position. Because now I have to wait a bunch of turns in order to level down my my scrapper. What you can do is put it into the middle, and then all of a sudden all of them are active again, and then you can kind of fix your problem like that. The best thing would be to just not let yourself get put in that position by not having a level 1 scrapper. I don't know why I switched it back into the corner. I think I was just close to the level 1, or the rank down. And so I thought it was fine. But this is essentially what you're trying to do with this deck. You're trying to have your scrapper in the center, and then you just keep eating. You use this scrapper, that's the recycler, to keep bouncing off these 2 tiles. And that's what you're doing for the whole game. I like leaving my Gunslinger on this side of the board because it's easier to catch the ones on this side. And then the ones that because your scrapper hits are coming from this side, and so when it throws further, it's easier to move your thumb from here to here, as opposed to moving your when it comes here. It's harder if your Gunslinger is right here to move your thumb from here to here quick enough. But if you have it here, it's easy to get everything that's here, and then anything that goes over here, you have a much longer lead-in time anyway. So just, I don't know, it's just a subtle thing it's just a subtle, yet another subtle nuance to playing this deck. That's another thing. So right there, my Gunslinger got upgraded. You could theoretically move your Gunslinger. Oh my God. I could have theoretically, instead of letting the Gunslinger get upgraded with the scrapper that just hit it, I could have moved any of my other things that I want to upgrade, because it's much easier to catch a thing than it is to hope that any of the other things get upgraded. So what you could do is, if your Gunslinger is going to just get upgraded, you could switch it with a night statue that's a level 2, a trapper that's a level 3, and then all of a sudden you've leveled up something that needs to be leveled up, and then you can continue just catching other things with your Gunslinger, which is another subtlety that you can theoretically do to make your game better. Right here, I should be using my mana power up. I don't know where I'm not. Right there was something else that happened. Right before I used my mana power up, I accidentally summoned in. So right here, I summoned in a Treant right there. And instead of using it, I instead use my mana power up. And what ends up happening is it gets a leaf counter. That is a stolen leaf counter that should have gone to literally anything else. So now I'm minus 2 leaf counters. Why? Because this, I could have I could have added a leaf counter to any of my Treants on the board, and then the one that it currently has would have also have gone to another thing. Again, it doesn't feel like a big thing, but it is something that, it is the skill level of this deck. And it's going to, it's something that you could have had 2 leaf counters onto something else. 2 leaf counters with Mycelium Masters is a lot of leaf counters. It's a lot of damage. It's a significant amount of damage to where you should think about this really, really hard. There's so much subtlety with this deck. And it feels very skill-based. It is a skill-based, it is like the most skill-based deck that I've ever played. Like, there are so many things where you know, like, what you did wrong, and how you could have had a better game. It's not, because, like, if you want the easy version of this deck, just look at the top player. The top player, he's playing a regular Floral Frenzy Blade Dancer build, and all you do is you set up and you scrapper away. That's it. This is not a scrapper away kind of deck. It looks the same, but there are so many subtleties in this deck that that you have to do. And it is obviously a much better deck than a Blade Dancer, even though you're using all the same pieces that a Blade Dancer deck uses. But because of all of that difficulty and nuance and everything, it is a much harder deck to play, but it is a much better deck that can do so much more damage. This is another subtlety. If you were wondering, why was I waiting so long to eat this Knight statue in the corner? The reason why is because right now my Scrapper is on 3 hits. The next thing that I scrap is going to throw the Scrapper hit out. It's going to give me the Scrapper upgrade. The problem that I have right now is that my Gunslinger is currently a level 7. So if I catch a Scrapper hit, it's going to do nothing. So I'm waiting for my Treant charge or my Treant mana power up to go off cooldown. I can use my mana power up, eat the Knight statue, and then hopefully catch the Gunslinger hit, or the Scrapper hit with my Gunslinger. Minus down, eat it, catch it. And now I'm back to being a level 7. And now I'm back to, there's 3 Scrapper charges. So now I have to wait again. I thought about it, and I was like, no, I should wait for my mana power up to mana power down, and then catch again. This is how you efficiently run this deck. You constantly have a level 7 Gunslinger. You constantly give full value to all 7 of your Treants. Right there, I allowed my the Knight statue to get a Scrapper hit. Right here, I'm back in the same position. I end up doing it anyway. It's fine. I have so much mana right now that I should be blowing through my mana. But the problem, like I said, is the idea that your Treant mana power-up is every 20 seconds. It's the biggest blow to this deck. If they wanted this deck to skyrocket, they would either give you double activations, or they would change the cooldown. Either one would work, and they chose to do neither. That's the only way to make this deck better. It's reducing the cooldown or giving you double activations. Double activations and then a cooldown, like what Genie has. That's literally all they would need to do to make this deck better. I have a 15.5% bonus right now on my Amulet of Swiftness. That has the ability to go to 25%. So if you really wanted to be nitpicky, I should have more charges on my Amulet of Swiftness. There's so many things that you're trying to do with this deck. It's a very fun deck to play for that exact reason. Like, there are so many things that you have to think about. Even though it looks like a very simple Floral Frenzy type, you know, scrapper away and just keep scrappering. There's a lot of decisions that you need to make. I just stole a scrapper hit from that Knight statue. It should be a level 6. And then I didn't steal it from that Treant. Right here, I think I'm just trying to blow through mana. I just have 56,000 mana that I should be blowing through. I can't just wait for my mana power up to keep charging. It's simply just taking too long, and at this point, getting the individual, like, scrapper hits on a Treant is more beneficial to me. Everything's on cooldown right now. My Gunslinger's a level 6, so it's fine. Now it's a level 7. I have 2 level 6 trappers that are going to help me out in the case that I have to do activations and I miss out on catches. I'm not missing out on any catches, which is good. Grandmaster is the worst thing for this deck. The major problem with this deck, other than the skill level and other than catching scrapper hits, is gonna be Grandmaster. Because you don't have the ability to gain level 8 things, you will always and forever be susceptible to Grandmaster. It is the biggest problem about this deck. Getting 2 of your units Grandmastered, you lose out on so many leaf counters. When one gets absorbed. So I'm gonna go back. So right here, I have a level 20. It gets absorbed into the middle one, and it changes that into a 28, but you just lost out on, what is it, 28, 20 minus 8, you just lost out on, not only did you lose out on 12 collective charges for everybody, but you also lost out on a level 4 Treant. You lose so much. It is not like a Twilight Ranger where all of the counters transfer. It's a specific, it's a very low amount. And I lost out on 12 charges, on 12 leaf counters and a level 4 Treant. So even though you do, it looks like, oh, well, I've just now powered up one of them. You lose out on so much damage. And here I'm going to attempt to recover. But this mode is just, it's endless and it's impossible. So, I think I do pretty well, with what I have left. But that Grandmaster hurt a lot. If you do have any questions, leave them down in the comments. This is the version of the deck that I would use. I think that it is, in all my testing, this is the best version of this deck for the current environment that we exist in. With Phantom mode, in a meta where not a lot of people use Toxic, I think that this is the best version of this deck. Unless you have Zeus, then use Zeus. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next video.